Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. We just hit 40,000 subscribers. Let's try to get to 41k by the end of the month. Please like this video down below and subscribe to the channel before we get started. But today we have to talk about the all-important future of our great country, or at least once great nation and culture that we had. And we have to talk about the American Civil War and what may happen in the near future, because it's closer than what a lot of people think, because a lot of people aren't necessarily woken up to the situation, but a lot of people are starting to sit there and realize, hey, wait a minute, this is not a good direction our country is going in, especially at the hands of the left, and we are going to discuss today why a civil war may be on the American horizon. And number one is obviously the left. We know that the left is destroying American culture, again, dividing America over false narratives that they have to stretch out just so it fits their agenda. They also are destroying people's lives that they disagree with, especially people on the right, and big tech is playing a role in this as well. And they are constantly pushing the Overton window to the left. If you give them an inch, they take a mile. That's the way they've always been. That's the way they're always going to be. That's why I'm telling people on the right not to cave. And this brings us to our next slide, which is very, very all-important, is that the right is just as complicit as the left on our demise as a country. So the right is caving into the left on every issue 5 years after the fact. If you look at the gay issue, if you look at some of the people caving into the Confederate issue, the Confederate statues you saw back in 2014, Nikki Haley decide to cave into the left and take down the Confederate flag at the South Carolina State House. And that is leading to this slippery slope that we're seeing, and I'm going to get to statues in a minute, because now they're going after people like Abe Lincoln, people like Teddy Roosevelt, who was the founder of regular progressivism, not far-left progressivism, but regular progressivism in this country. And you see this, and it's very, very destructive. They're caving in on issues like immigration. You're seeing maybe down the road, you're going to see 5 years down the road, if we elect a neocon, non-America First conservative, they're going to be giving amnesty. So it's an ultimate disaster. It's a disaster waiting to happen, and we see this constant decline of society under American liberalism. The right also lacks a backbone to stand for anything. If the left calls them out on something, they're always trying to prove to the left, hey, look at me. No, I'm not a racist, this, that, and the other thing. And the bottom line is, who cares? Okay, the left knows you're not a racist. They're just trying to smear you, and they're trying to get you to cave on certain issues. And if you do that, you're playing right into their playbook. So we need people that are willing to take a stand. We need people that are willing to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm here to stand for something. I'm here to not cave into the left. I'm not here to let the left control me or tell me what to do or tell me what to think. I don't care if they're going to try to come for my job or whatever. I have to take a stand for something. I just can't back down. And that's basically what people need to do in this society. Because if we keep caving in, we're going to lose everything. We're going to lose on every issue. And sooner or later, and we're already seeing this today, we're not going to be able to recognize this country at all. Also, the right has little leadership willing to fight for what's right, and the leadership that is willing to fight, they shelf. And we see this, we saw it even, this year in some of the primaries. Some of the America First conservatives like James Tulp or Joshua Foxworth got absolutely shellacked in the Republican primaries for Congress, and partially because the establishment is not willing to lend their support to them, and the people are not willing to take a stand for the grassroots right. And one of the exceptions to this, obviously, was Donald Trump's victory back in 2016. Donald Trump's win back in 2016 was the exception. He ran as a populist candidate willing to stand up for American values and American patriotism and nationalism, and guess what? He ended up winning. So we need the right people, and we need good leadership. And this doesn't just stop at Trump, because Trump's going to be out of office in 7 months, or either 4 years and 7 months if we're lucky. And who are we going to go to then? Are we going to go with one of the moderate neocon people, or are we going to go with somebody that actually wants to stand up for this country, that wants to stand up for the American people? Save our jobs, save our culture. That's something that Trump didn't really talk about a whole lot, but it's very important, and it's growing in importance. And I guarantee you, if we have a 2024 candidate that's willing to stand up and talk about things like that, I think that America will be much, much better off in the future. So we need good leadership. We need new blood in this party. No more of this Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, neocon stuff. We need true leaders that are willing to stand up and fight. People like Tucker Carlson, he's out here every night defending American culture. He's one of the most sane, reasonable voices in media. We're going to need more people like that in the future. So in terms of the right leading to our demise, the right is just as complicit as the left in many, many instances. And corporations, which run both the neo-lib on the right and the left, these people, the big mega donors in the corporations, accelerate our decline for profits. Again, they exploit political violence and political issues for attention. You see them do this with the BLM stuff all across the country. Even supposed conservative Chick-fil-A CEO saying and doing very borderline gross things on TV. And it's just virtue signaling to the max. You see this all throughout the country, all throughout these corporations, like Twitter putting the black icon on as their profile picture, BLM in the bios. Again, they're supposed to stay out of politics if they want to attract a larger audience, but no, they reduce civility, and they are leading us into decline while fanning the flames of a civil war in this country divided on political lines. And they're taking it even further. Not only are they virtue signaling, not only do you have people like the Oklahoma State coach apologizing for wearing a T-shirt for 3 minutes profusely and making a fool out of himself to the entire country. And that's apologizing is another problem, by the way. So it's also in our institutions there too, but also corporations rebranding. Again, people are ignorant to history, taking out Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima for no apparent reason. Apparently, the left is the one that always claims about we need more minority representation. Yet you see them rebranding all sorts of brands. I wonder if Mrs. Butterworth's is next, or who is going to come next, because I know it's not just going to stop at Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima. You don't know. Somehow they're going to go for the Quaker Oats guy. It doesn't really matter that Quakers were the ones that were against slavery. No, they'll go for him next. So rebranding, this is what they do. They try to rebrand everything. Eventually, when you talk about the government, they're going to be changing the names of cities. We see this, Obama changed the Mount McKinley to Denali. That kind of went under the radar, but it's not just going to stop at that. It's going to go to the cities entirely throughout the country. And big tech and corporations are doing this. They're also silencing voices that they oppose in big tech. Again, Twitter. It's ironic. They put Black Lives Matter in their Twitter bio, yet they censor Jerome Bell, who is a Black America First conservative that's running in Virginia's 2nd district again. So big tech is disgusting. We know what they do. And, conservative shilling for the free market doesn't always lead to good things all the time. And apparently, caving into the mob. Again, this is what happens when a corporation decides to take a stand for something. A mob will surround them, and then eventually they will cave into the mob every single time because they don't want to lose their precious profits. That's what corporations do. So I'm not really surprised on that front either, and all of this free market capitalism, which is good to a certain degree, but it's kind of accelerating the decline a little bit in this country. And I think that some conservatives are starting to take note of that and realizing that economic populism is the American future. So the main example of this is the statue removal. And we talk about the Confederate statues being taken down. This is what Donald Trump talked about at the press conference after Charlottesville happened. And the left was, taking his words out of context. The left was lying about the situation, but that's beside the point. The bottom line was that Trump said, it doesn't just stop at Robert E. Lee. It's going to go, George Washington, he's a slave owner, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and it doesn't stop at them. We're seeing them take down statues of the founders right now. They took down a Thomas Jefferson statue the other day, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, the guy that freed the slaves in this country, he's being defaced, and Winston Churchill in Great Britain, again, Antifa, the same people saying that they only exist for the purpose of fighting fascism. These are the same people that are out here taking statues down and rewriting history of the actual people who fought fascism. So it's just insane, and it just doesn't stop at them. They're going for Teddy Roosevelt now. Bill de Blasio's letting them take down Teddy Roosevelt, who was the founder of modern progressivism, not the far-left FDR progressivism. He led more of a conservative bull moose type of progressivism. He actually self-identified as a conservative and a progressive simultaneously. So it's insane what's going on, and they're not just going to stop at that. They're coming for everybody. They're canceling everybody. And they're going to come for you because nobody is immune to the mob. This is the way the mob functions. It's the way that the mob works. And we see this throughout. And this is the bottom line. All this stuff is going to lead to us down the path to civil war. The populace is not going to take this much longer. American people woke up in 2016. Trump's election was a sign of that. And maybe the energy has subsided a little bit. That doesn't mean Trump's going to lose, but it means the energy surrounding the culture subsided, but it will be back. And the people will not stay silent for much longer. And I tell you, Americans have 10 years. We have 10 years, 1 decade. This is our decade. We either solve this problem by electing leaders who are going to put the country and put our culture, put our history, put our heritage first. And if not, there is going to be massive conflict, potentially civil war, or you could say revolutionary war, because a lot of people are saying civil war means the state wins. Revolutionary war means the fact that the people rebelling against the establishment end up winning. So it's very interesting when you look at it through that perspective. And there's many, many possible outcomes of this. And America may end up balkanizing on political lines or geographical lines. It could split up into 2, 3, or even 4 or more countries in order to save itself. And this is not entirely a racial balkanization. It's more of a political balkanization. Of course, some of the new countries would have a higher proportion of ethnic minorities than others, but that's beside the point. It's more of a political division than racial division at this point. Race is just the crutch the left uses. And the right is probably going to win either way. If you assume that there is a full-on revolution and the right wins, the right will take over. And we will see a full-on type of Christian monarchical system. It's ironic because we rebelled against a Christian monarchy. We rebelled against the king to form a liberal democracy. Now you're going to see patriots rebel against a liberal democracy and potentially go out there and form a monarchy with limited constitutional powers. And I've talked about how this could be, and it's like you'll have the king, and then you'll have like a unitary system where the king will appoint the local leadership, and then you'll have some sort of Congress that's going to be able to overturn certain royal decisions with a supermajority and things like that. So there will be some constitutional powers. And I put this map on my Twitter. It got a little cut off here. But it's potential, if it's split up into 3 states or whatever, three big countries, some bigger than the other: the Middle American Republic, the Pacific American Republic, or commune, I guess you could say at this point. And you would have the old U.S., which will just be a little small area surrounding D.C. All those corporate people with their profits and their lobbyists will just profit off of the entire country, which basically will be New York City and a few other states at that point. So that's really it. And America is going down a dark path with this revisionist history, and Americans need to call it out when we see it. We need to take a stand, and we need to correct course if we want to save this country and save our future as a nation. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video down below, comment down below, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, join the Discord and subreddit, donate to the Patreon, or subscribe. Star links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.